Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, today we are going to discuss our topic, that is media and technology. So, what are the main objectives that we will discuss today? The first one is understanding media and technology. First of all, we shall understand that what is media and what is technology. Then we shall see some examples of media and technology, and especially those which are being used in education. Then we will discuss some advantages of technology, and then learning with media and technology. So this would be the focus of today discussions. Now see that first of all we understand that what is meant by technology and what is meant by media. So if we discuss media, so media is a plural form of medium, which broadly speaking describes any channel of communication. So here we can discuss that we can see that media is basically, this is communication but we are getting. So this can include anything from printed paper to digital data, and encompasses art, news, educational content, and numerous other forms of information. So digital media, which makes up an increasingly vast portion of modern communication, so this is comprised of intricately encoded signals that are transmitted over various forms of physical and virtual media, such as fiber optics and computer networks. When we see the history of media, this is often sometimes somewhat jokingly but also seriously seen as a tautology, since recorded history itself requires some form of media on which it can be stored and passed along through time. The invention of printing press technology culminated in many different shifts in Western culture, from the intellectual realm to the legal space and beyond. So, in 20th century, digital technology gave rise to digital media, which in turn facilitated the creation of the internet. Academic research, in addition to American military sport, led to the development of ARPANET, whose decentralization of data and packet switching technology foreshadowed the rise of internet, and thus framed the modern digital media landscape. So we can define media that all means of communication, whatever its format. So what we are getting in the form of communication, in the form of anything, that is that what we are getting, whatever its format may be, so that is called media. And media in other sense we can define that generally media, we know that it refers to the various means of communication, as for example television, radio, and the newspaper are different types of media, and the term can also be used as a collective noun for the press or news reporting agencies. In the computer world, media is also used as a collective noun, but refers to the different forms of data storage options. Computer media can be a hard drive, removable drives such as zip disk, CD-ROMs, CDR disks, DVDs, flash memory, USB drives, and floppy disks. For example, if you want to bring your pictures from your digital camera into the photo processing store, they might ask you what kind of media your pictures are stored in. So are they on the flash memory card inside your camera, or are they on a CD or USB drive? So for this and many other reasons, it is helpful to have the basic understanding of what the different types of medias are. So this was all about media. So what is technology? Technology, this is an object or process of human origin that can be used to convey media. And in other words, we can define that technology, this is application of the scientific knowledge to the practical aims of the human life. And as it is sometimes phrased, to the change and manipulation of the human environment. So, the branch of knowledge that deals with the creation and use of technical means and their interrelation with life, society, and the environment, drawing upon such objects as industrial arts, engineering, applied science, and pure science. In other words, we can also define technology. This is the application of this knowledge for practical ends. Again, we can define that the terminology of an art, science, or technical nomenclatures. A scientific or industrial process, invention, method, or the like. This is also one of the definition of technology. The sum of the ways in which social groups provide themselves with the material objects of their civilization. So, this is what about technology. Now here we can see that we have different forms of media and technology. Like in media, we can count sound, graphic, motions, print, sound, motion, graphics, print, graphics, and so on. And if we consider sound, then its technologies, audio tapes or players. If we talk about graphics or motions, then its technology is camera. If we talk about print, then we have technology, it's chalk or markers. Sound, motions, and graphics, for that we have technology of compact discs, laser disc, etc. And for print and graphics, we also have paper technology. And for print, we have whiteboard, chalkboard, blackboard. And for graphics, animations, motion prints, we have projector, LCDs. And for print graphic, we have also textbooks. Graphic prints, we have posters. Sounds, for we have technology of radio. Print graphics, also we have overhead projectors. And for print graphics, we also have charts and displays. Then, what are the advantages of some advantages of technology? This is what that if we talk about audio tapes or players, so its advantages, it's portable, it is easy to use, and relatively it is inexpensive. And if we talk about camera, that what suppose we have this technology, then this is easy to use. This promotes creativity, creates high resolution image, portable. So if we have technology of chalk markers, then this is easy to use and inexpensive. Compact discs or laser discs, if we have this type of technology, then this is a high quality sound, and this is easy to use, and this is often portable. Paper also, that its advantages that this is very easy to use, it encourages creativity, and many users relatively inexpensive. And if we have whiteboard or chalkboard, blackboard technology, then this is easy to use and easy to see across the room, available in most classrooms, relatively inexpensive. Projectors, this is also high resolution images, relatively easy to use, can be used to create animations. And same television, this is easy to use, textbooks, portable, archival, inexpensive, multi copies available, contains much information, contents are reliable and edited, easy to use. And same, the posters are there, posters, these are portables, high resolution image, and relatively inexpensive, pleasant to view, radio, and then overhead projectors and chart and display also. A lot of thoughts on the affordance of using different technologies focus on the advantages of use. Can you think of any disadvantages of using these technologies? So also, where there are some benefits, on the other hand there are some disadvantages also there. So here we shall discuss a few about multimedia. That multimedia refers to the communication of more than one media type, such as that involving text, audio, graphics, animated graphics, and full motion videos. So, and when we combine the different medias in one technology, so that is called multimedia. So we can also say that this is different types of multimedia. We have different modes of media into it. Now we see that what are the behaviorist foundations. According to the behaviorist, the learners use technology as a way of getting information and a learning set skills. So also they say that media and technology are used as instructional tool, and learners are learning from the media and technology. Uses the tutorial approach, and activities include demonstration, presentation, drill and practice, watching educational video, TV programs, listening to instructional audio, computer based instructor software. The behaviorist school see the mind as the black box, in the sense that the response to stimulus can be observed quantitatively, thereby ignoring the effect of thought process occurring in the mind. This school therefore looks at overt behaviors that can be observed and measured as indicator of learning. So they said that learners should be told the explicit outcomes of the learning so that they can set expectations and judge for themselves whether or not they have achieved the outcomes of the online lessons. So they have this view that learner must be tested to determine whether or not they have achieved the learning outcomes. Online testing or other forms of testing and assessment should be integrated into the learning sequence to check the individual's learner's achievement level and provide appropriate feedback. And also, their point of view is that the learning material must be sequenced appropriately to promote learning. The sequence should be the sequencing could take the form of simple to complex, known to unknown, and knowledge to application. Learners must be provided with the feedback so that they can monitor how they are doing, take corrective actions if required. Now there are some cognitive foundations that how we are using cognitively. So technologies that enhance the cognitive powers of a human being during thinking, problem solving, and learning. And this allows of loading of mental task into an external resource like graphic organizers, productivity tools. Media and technology function as intellectual partner to facilitate critical thinking and hierarchy thinking, and allows students to create a ways of representing how they think about things. Open-ended software, graphic organizers, process approach to writing problem solving activities. Cognitive foundations stress on that cognitivists see learning as an internal process that involves memory, thinking, reflection, abstraction, motivation, and metacognition. Cognitive psychology looks at learning from an information processing point of view, where the learner uses different types of memory during learning. Sensations are received through the senses into the sensory store before processing occurs. The information persists in the sensory store for less than 1 second, and if it is not transferred to working memory immediately, it is lost. Online instructions must use strategies to allow learners to attend to the learning materials so that they can be transformed from the senses to sensory, store and then to working memory. The amount of information transferred to working memory depends on the amount of attentions that was paid to the incoming information and whether cognitive structures are in place to make sense of the information. The duration in working memory is approximately 20 seconds. And if the information in working memory is not processed efficiently, then it is not transformed to long-term memory for storage. So designers must check to see if appropriate existing cognitive structure is present to enable the learners to process the information. And if the relative cognitive structure is not present, then pre-instruction strategies such as advanced organizers should be included as a part of the learning process. In cognitive foundations, there is a great role of multimedia because of having a different mediums into it. Like this have animations, motions, and images to represent thinking process. It also provides the tools to structure thinking process. Multimedia can be used. We know that teacher can use this multimedia as a tool to help direct learning. In this sense, it can be used in a number of paradigms. Paradigm of multiple use. Now, here I would explain that what is meant by paradigm. Paradigm, this is basically a set of theories that explain the way a particular subject is understood at a particular time. Or in other words, we can say that paradigm is a model of something or a very clear and typical example of something. In science and philosophy, a paradigm is a distinct set of concepts or thoughts patterns including theories, research methods, postulates, and standards for what constitutes legitimate contribution to a field. We can explain paradigm in this way that paradigm comes from the Greek word pattern, example, sample, from the verb exhibit, present, expose, at that form, beside, beyond, and to show, to print out. Got my point? Then, evaluatory paradigm is one of its type that it involves guiding the students through a process of learning by discovery, and the subject matter and the underlying meanings are gradually revealed to the learners as he or she uses the paradigm. Now here I would explain that what is revelatory paradigm. This is basically a type of ICT that use involves guiding the students through a process of learning by discovery. The subject matter and its underlying model are thereby or gradually revealed to the students as he or she uses the program. In contrast to the instructional form where the computer presents the subject matter and control the student's progress through it. In revelatory, CAL, computer assisted learning, the computers act as a mediator between the students and hidden model of some situation. That situation may be real, for example, an industrial process, a historical, theoretical, for example, a practical theory of matter, or even imaginary, for example, a city of future. The revelatory paradigm is still exemplified in educational programs by numerous stimulations of various types. Then the other is conjectural paradigm. This type of paradigm involves increasing control by the students over the technology by allowing students to manipulate and test their own ideas and hypotheses. It involves allowing students to use technology to create models and simulations. So we can also define this conjectural paradigm as this is the one of the category that involves increasing control by the students over the computer by allowing subjects to manipulate and test their own ideas and hypotheses. For example, by modeling. Modeling must be distinguished from simulation. Every simulation involves using simplified representations. For example, a model of some situation. But in a simulation, the model is ready created by the programmer. The user can then alter and experiment with the external conditions and variables affecting the model, but cannot tamper with the model itself. For example, internal conditions. In modeling, however, the user creates a model of situations himself and then may go on to test it. For example, by seeing how well it represents and predict reality. The potential of model building and model testing is still being increasingly explored in ICT use, in learning and particularly in science and technology courses. A model can be formed of some physical phenomena, for example, the expansion of liquid, the motion of a projectile. The pattern predicted by the model could then be compared, say, with the results of an experiment. Clearly, this involves far more control by the learner over the computer. A similar modeling exercise could be used in history, for example, by studying data in a local census, searching for patterns and forming hypotheses. These hypotheses could then be tested by studying further data and searching for new evidence in their sport. Then there are the third one is constructivist foundations. Constructivist, that when we have some knowledge and then we construct on the basis of our knowledge new things. Media and technology based on constructivist principles provide students with experiences that allow them to discover or reinvent concepts. So, according to constructivist foundations, students are given access to a variety of technologies and they use to help construct more complex understandings. Here, the students are to be given different experiences and then they are to be asked to construct new things to complex understanding. These explaining or these understanding are to be more complex than before. But on the basis of it, the students construct the new or invent new things. So dear student, this was all about today our technology and media. Hopefully you have understood a lot of things, but if you have questions you can ask, you can comment on below this comment sections, and if you don't understand anything you can ask me, you can write down, and inshallah I will give you this explanation. Thank you very much for being with me, and okay, thank you. Hopefully you have enjoyed these discussions. Stay with me. Allah Hafiz.